Welcome back. 14 weight loss tips Redditors wish they knew sooner. Saw this online. See if you can relate to it. I've been on my weight loss journey for a few months now and made decent progress. Still, I often think about how much easier it would have been if I had picked up certain habits right from the start instead of figuring them out later. What is that one simple habit that made a huge difference for you and you now wish you had started it on day one? I'm gonna tell you, I'm a little biased. As a guilt free health coach, I think working with a health coach one on one to customize your journey according to your own lifestyle habits is an underrated tip because otherwise you could be looking at other things that might not be best practices. You're guessing what to do, you're struggling with it, or you look back, it's like, oh man, if I had just started off sooner, knowing what I was doing, I'd be a lot further now. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me introduce myself. My name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I help business owners lose weight and feel their best without crash diets or guilt. If you want to have a free look at your next step, I have the free 3-minute Live Aligned scorecard link below so you can uncover what's blocking your weight loss. Let's get into this list. I picked 14 things out of the post. I've linked it below. The first one, make meals automatic. For at least one meal, ensure you don't have to rack your brain for it. For this person, they said that's lunchtime. I have pretty much the same thing every day. I don't tire of it easily. And even when I do, I can easily swap the wrap I'm using for 2 slices of bread and stay within the same calorie range. That's the top strategy. I have a meal guide linked below with some free recipes. But if you can plan what you're going to eat the day before or like the weekend before, then that makes it a lot easier. You don't have to scramble and react to being hungry and then get fast food on the way home or, on your way to work or anything like that. When you just plan accordingly, you already have those foods picked out. And that just makes one healthy meal easier to pick that day. Great tip. Second one, when you try to pick up all the good habits at once, you overwhelm yourself and get burnt out. When you add one good habit at a time and add more once that last one feels solid, you're much more likely to succeed. I started with walking a lot. And that's something I talk about all the time with the Live Aligned method. Knowing what to focus on makes a big difference. It's the key, really. When you have one habit at a time, you are very clear on what that looks like, what you're going to do to get that, to hit that goal, what kind of effort it's going to take. Then you can practice that new habit. And as you get good at that, you can start adding a different one if necessary, or you can intensify your efforts, do that more often, any of those things, right? So you're increasing your activity or you're eating healthy more often, or you're limiting certain foods more often. Those kinds of things done one at a time, like in sequence, add up to the changes you want. Instead of most people, when they try to make changes, they do it on like New Year's resolutions and they cut out all sugars and then they try to go to the gym way too much, much more than they're used to, and they get sore and they quit, right? Or they can't do all the changes at once, so they give up. So knowing what to focus on and focusing on one or two things at a time can gradually increase your performance and get you the results that you want when it comes to weight loss or being healthier. The third tip, clinical nutritionists. It would be prioritizing protein at the first meal of the day. Most people start with high carb meals. That's a good way to crash out if you're getting something like a croissant or a Pop Tart or skipping breakfast altogether. That's going to make you feel hungrier throughout the day and make it so you're more likely to eat something high fat at lunch. At least in my situation, I know that's likely. If I haven't eaten, I'm probably going to try to get some fried food at lunch. And if I'm trying to monitor my weight, that's not a good strategy. So that's what this clinical nutritionist said. Focus on protein, getting enough protein throughout the day, a top tip. The fourth tip that was on this post, eating 25 grams of fiber minimum per day. It quiets food noise and helps minimize snacking and overeating. One of my favorite tips here, eating enough fiber, fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains. Amazing tip. American Heart Association says you need 25 to 30 grams per day. We learned it was 14 grams per 1,000 calories in your diet in college as a nutrition major, right? Most people get about 13 grams per day. And so if you're not getting enough fiber, you're going to be hungry because you don't have enough food taking up space in your stomach. You're more likely to overeat higher fat foods, foods with a lot of added sugars, and you're not getting all the health benefits of having enough fiber. So great tip here. Think about it. 5+ servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Right there, get that 25 grams of fiber. And you can supplement fiber as well. The fifth tip here: finishing eating when I'm full, not when my plate is empty. This is a big challenge for a lot of people. You grow up, you have to finish your food on the plate or whatever. But if you've listened to when you're full, you can stop eating. And that way you don't overeat extra volume, extra calories. And that way you can help lose weight, because the food that's on your plate is directly proportional to the food that was served. It's not like a gauge for how full you are. You want to have those internal food cues and signals to let you know that you're full. Eat until you're about 80% full so you feel satisfied. You're not going to be hungry immediately. And then store the rest or remove it, throw it away, anything like that. You don't have to eat those extra calories. Great tip number 5 here. Number 6, avoid ruining progress on the weekends. Keep it at 7 days a week. This is a good one. People will have patterns where they are perfect on a restrictive diet for 5 days a week, like Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday night they're going crazy and eating everything, or Sunday at brunch, right? Ruining their progress. It doesn't actually ruin your whole progress, but it definitely sets you back if you're trying to lose weight. So you want to be mindful of what you're eating every day, not just like your standard routine days. And that's how you can stay on track with your health and weight loss goals. So that's the 6th tip. 7th here: someone who struggled losing weight my whole life and has finally maintained my goal weight for many years now. For me, it was steps. More specifically, using the calorie expenditure side of the calorie balance equation as a lever for weight loss. In the past, I just thought I had to eat very few calories and work out all the time to lose weight. And this is another thing you'll see online. People say like it doesn't matter if you exercise, or exercise is only for better health. But the calorie balance equation is calories in and calories out. So you want to use calories. You do that by increasing your exercise activity thermogenesis, how many calories you burn in exercise, and how many calories you burn in non-exercise activity. So that can just be walking more often. Something I've repeated several times here. It's big. It's a huge part of making a difference, right? It's not just about starving yourself or not eating enough food. It's also the calorie balance, and getting active makes a big difference. It doesn't have to be strenuous. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It could just be walking more often. Great tip. That's the 7th one. 8, cutting out crisps, cakes, biscuits, and tracking macros. So things like chips, cakes, cookies, shortbread, anything that's going to be high in fat or sugar. These things pack on calories, especially because there's nine calories per gram of fat, right? So if you have a bunch of fried foods or foods with, shortening or butter mixed into it, that packs in calories in a small, dense space, and it's not going to have a lot of fiber usually. So cutting these out or reducing them, being mindful of when you eat them, another great tip for minding your calories. And if you start it sooner, you're going to get results sooner from that. 9th tip: counting calories. I appreciate some people can't do this safely because of a past with disordered eating, but if you can do it safely, it's a game changer. Things they learned: healthy food doesn't equal low calorie or good for weight loss all the time. And then some foods contain so many calories in a small portion, more than you'd ever imagine. However, some foods contain so few calories per portion, I was amazed, right? And that's the thing. When you're tracking calories in foods, you'll learn really quickly which foods are high in calories. Some of the foods you're probably already eating might be higher than you're expecting, and some of them might have lower calories and be super delicious, right? So the thing is, most people don't know. And if you don't have that awareness, you can't make informed decisions, and then you can overeat calories pretty easily. Usually I have my new clients keep a food record for 3 to 5 days. That way they have an understanding of their current habits and what they eat, and start to say like, oh, well, maybe I don't need that as much if I'm on a weight loss goal. Calorie tracking helps. So that's the 9th tip there. The 10th one: using a food scale or measuring cup to measure out portion sizes. Now, if you're tracking calories, this will go with that, measuring your food, or using like the measuring cups, so you understand how big a portion size. People will estimate this usually, and then they are overeating and wondering why they aren't losing weight. Now, I'm not a huge fan of weighing food. It could be a useful skill, kind of like counting calories, right? You try it for a little bit, you get a baseline understanding, and then you don't have to keep doing that. But some people swear by this, and it is effective for many people. So, something to consider. It made the list. That's your 10th tip. The 11th tip here, getting my sleep cycle in order. A tired mind is a weak mind. And that holds, right? If you're staying up late, it's very easy to get more snacks, mostly because you still feel hungry. You're still burning energy, right? And if you are staying up late, waking up early, you feel tired and exhausted, you're just like, I just need a snack, or you might be more susceptible to stress and you cope with it by eating, kind of thing. And there's tons of benefit to getting enough sleep as well, too. So, all kinds of benefits. When you take care of your sleep, you have a better foundation for your health, your eating and exercise habits. It's easier for you to follow through, all of that. Now, this one, admittedly, one of my biggest challenges, because I stay up late working on content, seeing what other people are talking about online, but getting your sleep together, good idea there. 12th tip I have, I take stairs. There is more to it than that, but basically, they had an elevator in their home, like in their apartment walk up, but they take the stairs and now they've been losing weight. And that's one of those simple ways. If you have a few flights of stairs every day, going up and down those throughout the day can add to that calorie expense part. And it's just an easy part of getting where you're going. It doesn't count as a workout, but it helps you burn calories and stay active. Great tip here. Take the stairs. Good for your heart, good for your muscles, good for your bones, good for your health, supports your weight loss. 13th tip, drinking more water. This one, I mean, all these tips are really good. So that's why I'm going over them. Drinking more water. That way you don't eat extra snack foods to try to cope with your thirst, right? You might misread thirst as hunger and get snackish. This happens a lot, especially with like pretzels and salty foods. Drinking more water, drinking enough water helps you get your signaling correct so you don't overeat foods. Tons of benefits to drinking water too, in terms of mood benefits, resilience, feeling energized, and keeping your food cues straight so you don't have to overeat by mistake. And the 14th tip today, not focusing on weight loss. I picked a goal. Mine was running, and in support of that goal, everything else fell into place, fueling properly, getting active, etc. And this is one of my favorites because this is like usually my clients, I can talk them into running a 5K or a 10K. And this is a good way to get everything else in order. If you are training for a distance race, then you have to go to bed on time or else you'll feel tired. You don't like drink as much alcohol, you eat healthier, or like running will suck, right? And it gets everything else on track and it's easier to do. And it's just something to follow through, especially if you have a great training program from a health coach or a running program, so you know what you're going to do for that day. Everything gets a lot more clear and simple to do. So not focusing on weight loss per se, about like eating less and moving more, but focusing on the life that you want to live and having a fun goal at the end of it. So those are the 14 tips from this one post. There are more. I'll link that below. If you want help picking your own tip, I have got the Live Aligned scorecard that's linked below. And then next on YouTube, you can watch how to start losing weight when the goal feels too big. I'll put that here. So subscribe to my channel if you want more health tips. I'll be glad to help. Keep practicing. Peace.